up, everybody? Welcome back to the PHNX Rising live post-game show. It's insane over here at Wild Horse Pass. Phoenix Rising beat New Mexico United 2-1 to move forward in the U.S. Open Cup and into the round of 32. Edwin, how excited are you?
Man, I was excited. I feel like it was a jamble at the end, especially, a little behind the scenes, but also a little bit in the game. I mean, a little bit later than we expected. But, I mean, for me, it's a big win because we didn't have to see extra time. I think with this team, we're so used to seeing extra time in these type of games, but they got it done late. They're moving on, and there's a lot of possibilities of who they play and all that. So I know a lot of fans are going to maybe wake up to watch that draw tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an early draw tomorrow. They're not going to win until Friday like the last round. So very exciting. We're all going to be looking forward to that. But tonight we got to celebrate because tonight we just took care Rising took care of New Mexico. That's why this episode is called the New Mexico Green Chili Devil, because they took care of them back to back. It's insane. Man, shout out to Alex, Scott, Durden, Tyler. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Yeah, man, let us know your thoughts. How did you feel about the game? Edwin, I thought the lineup was a little interesting because Owen gave us the lineup and we're all kind of just scrambling, looking at each other like, what the heck is going on? What is Rick thinking? But fortunately, it worked out. That early goal, I think, kind of set everything for Rising, and they were able to kind of play at their tempo after getting that early goal. In your opinion, what was the key to victory tonight?
First of all, I think you start off with a big point right there. These Open Cups kind of lend to more of experimenting, and that's what we saw tonight. I mean, it seemed like on paper it's like a 3-4-3, but it clearly is like a 5-back when they're on defense. So it was very interesting. And for me, what was exciting is seeing someone like Channing Chaston in the lineup.
Yep.
A lot of these guys who we don't get to see playing regular minutes, starting minutes. So for me, it was exciting to see that. But I think the key for the goal was finally the link-up play at the end, because I think that goal because I'm not going to look too much at the first goal because obviously deflection, it was a goal and all that.
Of course.
But the second goal, the beautiful link-up play, the play by all those guys, Santi come in, playing a part, even Channing Chaston, as I mentioned. I think just that aspect and being able to grind out the game, because New Mexico had their chances here and there, but I never felt like they were super threatening like the whole time. You know?
No, definitely. I think comparing it to Saturday's performance, this was a lot better from Rising. Maybe New Mexico just wasn't really caring too much about this game, but I think Rising's performance tonight spoke volumes about what type of team they are, especially after giving up that goal. And everybody kind of looked around each other and said, oh, man, here we go again. We're going to go to extra time. But no, they composed themselves. They said, you know what? Let's bring in the big guns. They brought in Hurst. They brought in Santi. Channing Chaston, I thought personally, played a really great game. And just a little note, it's his first ever professional start. And so for him to play like that and be able to contribute to the team, I thought was outstanding. And so he was able to get that pass to Santi, who was then able to connect with Hurst in the box. And here's the thing about Hurst, man, I cannot say enough things about him. I doubted him at the beginning of the preseason, but he's shown us time and time again that no matter the competition, no matter the opponent, he's going to come through if you give him a chance. And so I'm really happy that Hurst was able to get that second goal and get the win in 90 minutes, man, because that's the thing we were worrying, that they weren't able to get it done in 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. I think Hurst has been that guy all year long. Like, he's been the number 9. Nothing to discredit Repetto and Richmond Antwi, but I think it's been clear all year long that the answer's been Greg. Greg gets involved. Greg is always part of the goal when it seems like Rising is threatening. So that part was exciting. You kind of mentioned it there, how we both thought it was going to go to extra time. I think the moment for me that highlighted that was that Ryan Flood miss. Where I thought he was going to convert that. I think it's heartbreaking. I think Alex mentioned it in the comments how that was a little heartbreaking. But Rising had their chances. I think this team is progressing and more creative. And I kind of told you in text where I think sometimes they rely too much on the wings. I think sometimes just take your runs, go through the middle, because there's chances and they create chances through that. I just think it's a lot of what's left for this team is converting those chances. Like I mentioned, the Ryan Flood chance. I think there was another one by Madrid that was well saved over there. I'm trying to even think of another one that doesn't even pop up my head.
Kalistri had a shot on goal. Babu had a chance. I think Epps. Let's talk about Epps for a little bit, because everyone played well. I thought Epps had a lot of opportunities to be a little bit more influential in the game, but for some reason or another, he would either stop and try to pass out like you're saying, Edwin, or not continue with the play. That's the only thing that I would kind of highlight about the offense tonight, that I feel like Epps just needs to go for it,
Yeah.
In the second half, he came out a little bit more assertive. He was able to take those shots at goals. Unfortunately, they were a little bit wide or way over the goal. But I think Rick told him, like, look, you're open. Your teammates are fine. They're going to be there. But go ahead and take those shots because we need Epps or Rising needs Epps to be able to space out by taking those shots, because once he becomes a little more dangerous and the defense knows that he's capable of taking those shots, the spaces are going to open for his teammates, and that's when he can be a little bit more influential on that side of the ball.
No, I agree with you. I think we're in a celebrating mood, right? And we're not here to be somber or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But we'll be a little somber in the sense that we all expecting a little more out of Marcus Epps, because I think we've been giving him time, right? And I've been a proponent. I'm giving him till the Miami to, start converting his chances, do that. But it just seems like this year he seems a little hesitant. He seems like we thought the Marcus Epps that we were going to get was going to be the guy who beats a lot of the one-on-one and the wing that sets up the play a lot. And it seems like a lot of the one-on-one battles, it's 50-50 if he's going to win it. And sometimes it leans more toward the defense. Some of the chances, as you mentioned, he hesitates to take them, or when he does take them, it just seems like it's right at the goalie. So I just think for Marcus, he's progressing, and that's what I've been saying. But I think that sooner or later you got to put it all together, because how much time are you going to wait? Because we saw Santi Moore. He came in, and he already contributed.
Santi wanted to play, man. When I got to the stadium, it was around 5:30. He was out there with his chanclas. He was in the sandals just walking around the pitch because he really wanted to play tonight. And I think you saw it on the pitch. He was everywhere. Even though he wasn't able to score, he was able to put that assist for Hurst. And so he was influential in that side of the game, and he just wanted to be there. So definitely we miss Santi.
Exactly. And for me, my question then to you is, because we mentioned how Hurst played well.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the possibility in our last post game how we could possibly see a pairing of Repetto and Hurst, because we like what they're doing. And you might see Santi replace Epps. So do we see maybe Santi, who's now fully fit, can kind of play those minutes for Marcus Epps? Or do you think they're going to still put Marcus, Santi in the wings and trust someone like Greg Hurst up there? Because I think that's a big question to be asked now.
Yeah, no, and I know Rick said this in the preseason that he might tinker with different formations depending on the players and how he sees them fit. I really like that pairing of Santi Moore and Hurst up top towards the end of the game. There were, the last two, I think at that point Rising was playing like a 4-4-2, and just, their chemistry and then their ability to already know where to go, I think we were able to see in that goal, and also in different opportunities where either Rodriguez was coming down the flank, or you saw Channing Chaston, and again, who had a great game, down the right sideline and able to put in those crosses. So I like that pairing. Will we see it again? I don't think so, at least not for right now. But I thought they worked out great, especially for Santi coming back from that injury. He looked well. So.
I mean, I think the important thing is just seeing Santi fit. I think a lot of fans, you got to be happy, obviously, because of the win. First of all, you got to celebrate it. But to see players like Babu even, being fully fit and be able to play and create chances the way he does. The team, I think, is finally getting back to fully fit. Obviously, there's things that are long-term injuries, but to see Santi Moore, to see Babu, I think that's just one of the highlighting and keys of the game for me, because obviously you're going to look at the game and you're going to highlight the goals and all that. For me, at least it was a bright spot to see those two return, and Channing Chaston, like I mentioned earlier, to see the way he played. He was exciting, as Durden said in the comments.
For sure. Durden said start of the second half was a little stressful with how fast and intense New Mexico came out. We looked very flat for a bit. Yeah, there was a bit like a 15-20 minute spell where I think Lunt had to come in clutch again and stop New Mexico from scoring. So that was something that we had to take a look at. So Scott says Rising had a lot of chances too, just kept sending the ball skyward. Exactly right. Durden says Chaston is very exciting to watch. Flood had some chances as well. Alex, good point here. Epps had that breakaway and it just fizzled. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit strange.
Yeah, a little strange.
Pat Moses, great match. Imagine if the front office actually would have put some effort into marketing this match and getting butts into the seats. To your point, Edwin, you were telling me about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so for me, right, I get it's a midweek game. It's USL. I think they're waiting for the US Open Cup if they host it here for an MLS team. Sure. Yeah. But you would like to see some effort, I think, to, get the fans out, some promotion, all that. Yeah. Because on the way I was driving here, like I was telling you, the billboard, as I was passing by, it was Rising. So I was like, oh, cool. It's cool to see Rising.
Down the 10.
Yeah, and I-10 to a Rising billboard. And I look up, it said next game Miami. I was like, well, I'm on my way to work.
So and we're forgetting about tonight's game
against New Mexico. Either I'm not doing this right or they're not. So
for sure.
You would at least, they would hope to put some effort, maybe in the billboard, at least put that the next game is New Mexico, because clearly it's not Miami. That's not the next game. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe the MLS team, they'll put a little bit more marketing into that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about OG's brands. If you guys didn't know, it's 420. So if you guys are at home, relaxing, chilling, doing your thing, definitely you don't want to forget about OG's brands. 420 is here. You can stop by your local dispensary and celebrate with our friends at OG's. They're good people with amazing scratch-made THC gummies. And if you weren't able to join the fun last Friday at Budzapalooza, you can definitely join the fun by going to a dispensary and getting some OG's brands. If you're interested in trying the amazingly delicious variety of flavors that OG's brands has to offer, go to ogsbrands.com. That's OGEEZ brands.com to find some OG's near you. I do want to point out that Sean didn't send the OGs with Edwin, so
Yes.
It's not our fault that I'm not taking them tonight.
Please,
Just
comments,
heads
don't
up.
blame it on me. I know a lot of comments are going to be mad. Edwin's back. He didn't bring the OGs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah.
We tried to have a fun 420, a happy 420, but we couldn't deliver. But
but if you're at home relaxing and chilling or after the game, props to you. Happy 420 to you guys.
Yeah.
Do we have a DraftKings King of the Game?
We do. We're talking about a little bit of happiness.
Let's
and
do
the
it.
man who delivered it today, the DraftKings King of the Game, is the man himself who scored the goal. Greg Hurst with the late one.
Mr. Greg Hurst with a beautiful flick of the ball for a goal. And then I love the fact that he ran straight to where the Rising bench was, and right behind that was where the New Mexico fans were, and he just waved them off because he's like, "Have a great trip." True. Because he sent them home packing.
And I think it's the second time we gave Greg Hurst the DraftKings King of the Game. The first time we actually gave the right photo. I'll admit that. Last time we
did we put Quinn last time?
I'm sorry. This time we actually gave it to Greg Hurst. He deserved it. I mean, he got the goal, and that's why we're here celebrating in a happy mood as Owen with a big smile already.
You know what? I'd like to start now. If you want to know my first thoughts.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to actually just reference the guys right behind us by here during that game. We had the New Mexico fans, right? They were right by there. And in that second half, I definitely heard them chanting in response to the chants you had coming out the south end, who needs Santimo when you got Nico Brett? Well, a little bit of wisdom I'd like to impart here. It came not directly, but indirectly off of Santimo's head, which is that he has, in fact, gifted them a home draw in the next round of the Cup, namely that they will be at home because they're not in it.
Oof.
But
Ooh.
Wow, what a night. What a night. It's, I don't think it was the best performance by Rising overall that we're going to have seen. But you just have to think about what this means, right? This is the first time since 2018 that Phoenix Rising has won a knockout match in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
This is the first time since 2014 that the state of Arizona has had a team in the fourth round of the U.S. Open Cup. That last time, Arizona United played against LA Galaxy over in Peoria Sports Complex, the baseball stadium.
Wow.
They lost 2-0 in that match, 2-1, in that match after taking the lead.
Wow.
That's close game. It's
so you're saying there's some history with Galaxy coming to the Valley.
Here's the thing, right? And I say this at risk of, if you're listening back to this later, you hopefully the groups are out by then. I'm like panickingly refreshing US Open Cup, the Twitter account, and just trying to see, have they put the groups up yet? Yeah. Here's what we know. Should we talk about the draw?
Let's talk about the game.
All right, we'll come back to the draw. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get these groups for you. But sure.
So, Owen, thoughts tonight? Rising go up really early in the game. New Mexico, I think off of miscommunication between Lambert and Lunt there, they were able to get back and tie it 1-1. Ultimately, Hurst was able to push Phoenix forward and into the round of 32. You said it wasn't their best game, but did you think it was a good enough game to get past this New Mexico tonight?
Well, they won.
Well, obviously, but I was trying to say.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Look, it's ultimately you had a team that did create actually quite a few chances. Rising, there were a few that they probably should have put away and didn't. One that really comes to mind early on is Ryan Flood and the fact that he, had that shot that went right at the goalkeeper on the one-on-one in the second half. When it was 1-1, you're just almost tearing your hair out. Like, surely he should be tucking that one away, and he doesn't.
You can see the frustration.
You can see the frustration. But when you look beyond that, there were a couple of other opportunities. Marcus Epps in the first half, that one where he's going through, and he should have done a lot better with that one, shouldn't he?
We talked about it.
It was a quick break. There's like 3 of them coming up and maybe 1-2 defenders. You've got to do better with that. So, hey, it is what it is.
Greg Hurst came in the second half and was able to put it away. How did you like that combination of Hurst and Santi up top in the latter stages of the game?
I think that every game we watch Greg Hurst, we are shown more and more that he is a player that we should be very happy to see here in Phoenix, having signed from Omaha over the offseason. He's keeps proving that he can do it. He keeps showing that he is very capable of playing in this at this level. This is the second game in a row that Greg Hurst has scored the winner against New Mexico United. We might have a new New Mexico killer on the loose.
Ooh, hey, Joey's gonna.
He's coming for Joey's crown. Joey Calistri here. Now, of course, Joey didn't get credited with that first goal.
Did a lot of the work, though. We all know.
He did the work. He did the work. If he spoke to him after the game, he'll tell you it was a shot. It was a shot. I'm not sure it was, but
he trying to chip
he'll
it
tell
over?
you.
Is that what
He'll
he's
tell
trying to
you
do?
it's a shot. He'll tell you it's a shot.
At least he sticks with the guns. I gotta give it to him.
But back to Greg. I mean, just as a player, he keeps performing. When we see him in the, again on the weekend, tonight, in the opening game of the season, he scores. He's definitely coming into himself now. There's 2 games in a row he scored in. It's just good to see that I think he has adjusted well to this level. He's definitely got, and I know Rick definitely spoke to his intelligence, his ability to read the game, his positioning and all of that. His ability to know where to be at the right moment to actually make things happen. But you're seeing also the other side of things as well. Rick might talk about his strength and his pace not quite being there, and maybe there's still room to work on there. But ultimately, he can still get it done, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, no, even in that Ryan Flood chance, Greg Hurst lets the ball go knowing that Flood is going to be open right behind him. Unfortunately, Flood wasn't able to get the score, but that awareness and that ability to bring his teammates into the game, where else are you going to see that? It's incredible quality from Hurst. I was telling him, Edwin, earlier that I doubted him in the preseason because you see Repetto, 6'3".
You doubt him? Why? I was calling for Hurst in the preseason.
I was.
No, he look and
why did you doubt him?
Because of he was coming up from a lower league to the USL. He's physically, I don't think he was all there. He's still not all there, but he's able to make up by his offensive awareness, his technical ability with his feet, and he's proving me wrong by scoring these goals and helping Rising win. So shout out to him.
Guys, can we take a minute to just, unfortunately, if you're watching at home, you can't see this, but there's a New Mexico United van down there. Do people want to wave it off?
Is it stalling?
Oh yeah, there is a van over
there is a big van down there which says "We Are United" on the side.
What's the trip to? Is it 8 hours, 10 hours to New Mexico?
It's a nice long trip back home after you've lost 2 games. Isn't it?
That's not fun at all.
2 games in a week.
Talking about doubting, Owen. Not gonna name names here, but the fans were excited about Channing Chaston and the performance he put. I mean,
I'm still not convinced. I think, and you have to bear in mind. I think
Chat,
he overhits
go get
the
him.
cross.
Go get him, chat.
I think he overhits the cross that ultimately leads to that goal.
You don't think
that's
that
the
was
best
on
chance
purpose?
he
You don't
created.
think that
No,
was on
I don't think it
purpose?
was on purpose. I think he overhits it.
So he had. I think he had a great game due to the fact that he was able to, with his quickness, put the New Mexico back line kind of on their heels. I know you're not going to agree with me. I thought he had a great game for him being his first professional game.
Very good player in terms of paces. And I mean, we were talking in the presser afterwards, and it was brought up that this was almost the Rising A team kind of out there. And Rick just turned around and went, "We had a kid who was making his first professional,
and he played great.
Start." He played fine. I'll give you that.
First professional start.
But I think there's a lot to work on.
That's what I was saying.
Still.
He wants him to do like an overhead bicycle kick.
But here's the thing. This is Phoenix Rising. And the expectations are there.
I agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so it's fine.
I agree.
The standard you want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the other problem, right? Is that ultimately, if Rising was blowing teams away and we're winning games 5-6-0, as we've seen in, not quite to that extent, but by multiple goals, you're going to see a lot more of him off the bench.
Yeah.
But when you're playing these close games, do you want to play someone to develop them? That's where Rising over the years has struggled, right? Yeah. It's not necessarily the best for developing players for the very simple reason that you're not going to just get game time, okay?
Don't look at the chat, Owen.
If you need game time to try and improve there.
No, and to your point, Rising haven't had a great start. We talked to this about when the lineups came out, and the fact that he wasn't going to get these opportunities, but Rick looked at him today and said, "You know what? This is your chance, kid."
Yeah, for me though, right? I think one of the main things that we're we want to see improvement from Channing is his crosses and all in his pass. But I feel like that's been an issue universally.
That's very true.
Like who have we highlighted that's been very good at crossing?
Yeah.
So I think Channing's just jumping on that board, and he gives you something different. I think for me, in my comparison, I'm comparing him to maybe someone like Marcus and what he can offer. For me, I think he beat more of the one-on-ones. He was willing to take that on and create more chances, which is why I give him my thumbs up, and I thought he played good because, yes, we can diss the kid for his crossing, but I feel like that's been something that's been needs to be
and if he wasn't playing great, then, Darnell King would have been in a lot earlier. I think Chasten did fine. I think he did great. It's something that he could improve on.
See, the thing. Here's the thing, right? You start with saying he did fine, then you say he did great. Which one is it? Because those are two very different things, right? Did he do fine or did he do great?
I'm saying he did great. As far as
I think he did fine. I think he did fine.
I don't know. I don't understand your hate for him tonight. That's what I mean. Like, what would you?
It's not hate. It's overhyped.
It's not overhyped. It's his first game. I'm encouraging him to continue to play great.
I don't want people blowing smoke up the ass of a kid who's just making his first
okay. Do I think he should start the next game? If you ask me that, do you think he should start the next game against Miami? I don't think so. No. He can remain on the bench. He can play maybe the second part of the second half of that game for all I care. But the fact that he played great tonight in a must-win game, in my opinion, and he showed it on the field, I think that's commendable.
You know what? We've got someone staring at us right now, so we're going to invite him back in. It's the Open Cup. Can we please get?
Look at him. He's all dapper.
The tie man.
Look at all dapper.
Jake Anderson. Come on in, Jake.
Here, let's not cut off your head like last time.
We're not going to cut off your head. There you go. Sit down in that seat. So, Jake, I need your views on this one. What are your thoughts on Channing from today?
From today, just from listening to what you guys have just been talking about, I do side with you.
Thank you.
As uncommon as that does happen.
What?
It's a rare one. A rare one.
But let me say why, in the fact that I don't think he played great, but I don't necessarily know if we can really point to anyone and say they played out of their minds. They played great for the full 90. He played fine. He played good. And then I do agree. I wouldn't start him based on tonight's performance. I would not start him against Miami, but he was serviceable. He showed that he can be an option, perhaps off the bench later in the year. He did what he needed to tonight. They played a different formation, as Rick told us post-match, that they changed because of what happened on Saturday. And he filled in and did what he was asked to do. So in that regard, it's kind of like Joey Calistri, and where he does just what you need him to do. And then if you give him enough chances, he might surprise you one of these times.
But to me, Joey Calistri gets more output.
Well,
and
we haven't seen Channing that much. That's the thing.
This is the kid making a professional debut.
And I agree with
it's
that.
It's not his debut, it's his start.
His start. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's a distinction.
It's a professional start. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I apologize. But this man's barely gone minutes. We can't be judging him compared to the Calistris. This is because he's Clutch Calistri, yeah? And he's built that brand, right? He's gotten to that point. This is Channing, who you did well. I'm not saying he did fantastic, blow your mind, get his jersey. But he did well. He did his role. He offered something different, and he was good enough for the win. So we got to let him progress, get some minutes. Should he start against Miami? I agree with Ramon. No, but U.S. Open Cup's a perfect time for someone like Channing to get minutes.
This isn't my show, so tell me to shut up if I need to.
No,
let me pose this question.
Go ahead.
I normally tell you to shut up, Jake. It's okay.
Who do you, in your opinion, you guys play better tonight, Channing or Marcus?
Channing.
I'm with you on that.
Channing, but again, I think that Marcus had a poor performance, and this is a great one. Let's link it back in, because in the chat right now, we got Pat Moses saying Marcus is Forbes 2.0. Ooh.
Final thoughts on that.
Final thoughts. We'll let you go after you answer that one. But Marcus is
that's
Forbes
a little
2.0.
harsh just because we're so early. But knowing what Billy Forbes was and seeing how Marcus has performed up until this point in the season, I can understand why fans can start to feel that way.
Yeah.
But again, it's it's April, boys. I mean, we still have until November for playoffs. So we've seen what Marcus can do. I heard Owen talking earlier about the chance that he messed. He was on the break and just wasn't even able to get a shot off. We've been seeing a lot of that. But if he can clean up and do what we've seen him do back when he was with San Antonio, I think he's the signing that they want him to be.
Fair.
All right, Jake. Well, thank you for your quick appearance. Now, kindly piss off and hand the mic back to Ramon.
Thanks for having me.
And
Guys.
I'll continue with this. I'll continue with the talk now on Marcus. Right, the issue that people are having, I think, is that he came in with such high expectations, and part of that is just you're replacing Solomon Asante. That's tough. That's tough for anyone to do, to replace Solomon Asante. He's also wearing Solo's number on his back while playing in Solo's position. Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure, expectation, all of that. He came in with, and Jet, just to add on here as well, sorry, make a good point as well that Marcus isn't a locker room cancer, it seems. If we're going to talk about Billy Fobbs, maybe that's a worthwhile addition.
It's a plus right there.
That's true.
But when you're thinking more broadly, I see why people draw that thing because they're a bit reticent after you've brought in one highly touted San Antonio winger into this club and it doesn't work out. You bring in another highly touted San Antonio winger and it feels like it's not working out again.
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's early to hit the panic button, but the thing is the performances haven't been up to scratch so far.
What do you think the issue is, though? Because we can clearly see it on the field that he's not being himself. We saw it in San Antonio how he can take over a game. He can hit those long-range shots from either foot. But when it comes to, that break that Jake was just talking about, he completely just stops and tries to look for a teammate instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to take this on and take care of this myself. So what's the issue? What's going on?
I just think it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. The thing is, he's not a huge goal scorer, which is a starting point, right? He's not necessarily a good cross for the ball, or hasn't been so far this year.
So what can he bring then?
It's difficult because what we're seeing a lot of from him is this attempt to cut inside that isn't quite working, followed by a cut backwards, and then stuff just stalls, or he's lost the ball because he's lost it trying to cut in. And that's difficult, really, to work out. How do you do? What are you doing? You need to get more support around him. What it feels like right now is it's almost like at times the decision making isn't quite there, and that's normally a bad sign.
You think he's hesitating due to the fact that he's playing maybe with better players than he did in San Antonio, and he's trying to get them the ball?
It's a really interesting question. Or defense is playing him differently than he would have back then.
Yeah.
It's a difficult question. I definitely think that whatever it is, it's not necessarily his abilities in terms of his actual abilities with the ball at his feet. I think it's more about just for whatever reason, things just aren't quite going as quickly as they should do in his head. And he's not quite making the right decisions all the time. And you'd hope that's just a current form type thing or a confidence or whatever, something like that. Because this is a guy, again, who's had at least some success elsewhere or has come in highly touted. So clearly people see something in him. Right? And you wouldn't do that, especially in this league, unless you've got the head on your shoulders to be able to make it happen. So I don't know. It's a strange one. I mean, other people will point to it and say, well, he's scored goals or he's had assists. Like stuff that's happened along the way, and it has, right?
Yeah.
Even looking at the weekend, he got the assist, didn't he? If you want to give him an assist on that, I mean, you can question the amount of ground that Greg then covered. Is it worthy of an assist? All of that, but he was the last one to play the ball free to Greg before Greg scored in that game. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. I'm not really sure how you pinpoint what you do to fix it.
Yeah, it's
hard. Is it more time? Is it, maybe have him come off the bench a little bit more free
flowing?
Though,
whereby, again, we all love to be more time. We talk about it every week. Like, it's Phoenix Rising.
That's why
it's a weird one because the patience that maybe people should get, they never get at this club.
Well, this is why
we need to be clear about that. They do not get that patience here because they are expected to dominate this league.
That's why I brought up the question. I kind of want to propose that to you quickly, Owen. Is I asked Ramon because we saw the return of Santi, and he seems to getting more fit and getting there. So with the return of Santi, could we see possibly the trio of maybe Repetto, Hurst, and Santi, given the form that Hurst is on? It feels like you got to start Hurst. The question is Repetto. Do you start him in that spot? And do you form that trio, or do you go back to the starters where it was Epps, Santi, and Hurst?
If it was me,
or
what will Rick do?
Both. I mean, you can give both.
Well, I don't know what Rick will do. That's the easiest way.
I mean, we saw it tonight with the lineup.
Because these guys are all making their case. I mean, again, Greg Hurst has scored in 2 successive games, right? One of which was off the bench. How do you drop a guy who's playing that kind of football?
And
especially a striker. Talk about confidence. Talk about the confidence you come off of a game like that with. So you kind of got to leave him out there. Then you want to get Moore out there. Moore had a hand in this goal.
Yep.
And then, ideally, I think he wants to leave Claudio out there. I don't know. I personally...
It seems like he really wants Claudio out there to kind of pick up that goal scoring, and that's why he's giving him so much time.
Depending on fitness and all things like that, I personally would probably go with the one that you're suggesting, which is that Epps makes way for Moa, and you want to see Hurst in there and Claudio up top. But I don't know. It's a complicated one because, again, especially this week, part of that comes down to fitness and all kind of factors like that. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open Cup and what's going to happen tomorrow with the draw and some of the results tonight. But before we do that, I do want to talk to you about DraftKings. As you guys know, you guys probably watched the Suns game yesterday that fell to the Pelicans. And that means that the NBA playoffs are back. So
it's okay. It's okay. I said Suns in 5.
I said Suns in 5. He said Pelicans.
Your only prediction was they were going to win the first game. So the Pelicans.
They lost the second game, so that was kind of close. But but if you haven't yet, you can get on the action of the first round of the playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. You win no matter what. Plus, each day of the first round, get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same game parlay doesn't hit. You guys can bet the Suns. You guys can bet them to the moon. And I want to hear it like Espo says it.
To the moon.
To the moon. Like
as long as that hamstring heals.
Oh, my God.
You got to get that hamstring.
That baby. You shouldn't have dapped them up. And so if you guys haven't yet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the first round of the playoffs and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You do have to be 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Speaking of the Suns.
Yes, sir.
Can we shout our boy Gerald? Flying out there to New Orleans.
The Big Easy.
In his Phoenix Rising t-shirt.
Oh, man.
He was wearing a Phoenix Rising t-shirt today. So
yeah.
Props to him, man. I hope he donates his hamstring to Booker, man. Because at this point.
You can take mine. It's not much good, but you can take mine. So.
But I'm still confident. I know Alex is in the comments. Suns in 5 without Booker for at least a couple games.
I don't think Booker will come back until game 6, honestly.
And that's fine because I don't think they need him. I think I think the issue is Ayton had a bad game. They had a terrible game. It had to go all wrong for the Pelicans to win that game. Yeah. I think that
Pelicans
they're still a great team, and the season wasn't a fluke. Yeah. So I think that the Suns will bounce back.
Is that a team of stars underperforming in a playoff game?
Oh no, we can't be talking. This is a good mood.
I'm dropping
today.
it. It's a good show. It's a good show today. It's a good show today.
Before we move on to the U.S. Open Cup, I do want to point out Jose's comment. He says green chili and enchiladas tonight.
The green chili
double. The green chili double is the headline for this
chili
one.
Doubles, exactly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, shout out to everybody in the comments. Thank you. All right, what's gonna happen? Round of 32. Phoenix Rising. I haven't seen this since 2014. What's going to happen?
I am panickingly refreshing. Come on, Open Cup. Give us the groups. They're not giving us the groups yet. It's okay. It's okay. Hopefully they'll come in before we go off air. But so tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Set your alarms. US Soccer's YouTube page or the Open Cup Twitter account. The live draw for the round of 32, the 4th round of the US Open Cup. Each, from what we gather from the way this has been described so far, including an email that US Soccer sent out this morning, the draw will work like this. All 32 teams were divided into 8 groups of 4 based on geography. Same as the geographic regions we had for this one.
Okay.
But the geographic regions will be different based on who has gotten through and all of that. Each of them will have one of the 8 MLS teams entering at this round.
Ooh.
So that is the 8 MLS teams that finished the highest last season.
Okay.
So you got, from the West perspective, people we want to be looking at, you've got the Portland Timbers, you've got the Seattle Sounders, you've got the Colorado Rapids, of course, and Denver coming for you. But it's a regionalized draw.
Mm-hmm.
One of them will be in each of the 8 groups, and then the rest will be sorted according to geography. And I'm just, please, Open Cup, please give us the groups. My best guess, and I'm probably about to be proven completely and utterly wrong.
Clip it.
Is, you saying clip it, I'm just guessing. I'm telling you, I don't know. These guys work in weird ways.
Yeah.
My best guess is that Rising gets put in a group with the 2 Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
Not Northern Colorado. Shout out to them for the cup set today. The 2 Northern Colorado teams. I keep saying
One more time. Clip
Northern
it.
California. We get there. Of San Jose Earthquakes and Sacramento Republic.
Ooh, interesting.
The reason I think that is because the 3 teams in Southern California are all in either LA or Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to be split up. Then what I see happening is, and this is kind of how we saw the Rising and Tucson work out on who was going where, was they'll do a draw tonight, presumably, to work out who's in which.
Okay.
And that'll be between Portland and Seattle. So Portland will go into one of those. Seattle will go into the other. So I think that we will see a group tomorrow that is Portland or Seattle, San Jose Earthquakes, Sacramento Republic, and Phoenix Rising. Now, I have been told that Phoenix Rising has applied to host a fourth-round game. So they will be in the draw for a home match tomorrow morning.
Now, how's that determined? If
we
the
will see.
MLS
I'm
team
guessing we're going to see the envelopes again.
Okay.
And we're just going to literally see them say, well, all these teams can host, or
there you
these
go.
teams can't host.
Corey with the right idea, Rising versus Rapids.
That's
now,
what we want.
That's what we
want Rising against Rapids.
I want a Galaxy.
I fear it won't happen.
I want Galaxy.
I want you, Chorito.
The NVR is not ready for Rising against Colorado.
You're not ready for Owen.
They are not ready for the three of us.
The pre-match is us three versus their show.
Death match.
I got Owen scoring the hat trick.
I think we could do it. He gave it a red card too.
Yeah, look at him. He's ready. I mean, he's got the.
I'm ready. I'm
the
ready.
most fit out of it.
I'm ready for this.
So, Owen, Edwin, what, in your opinion, would be the best case scenario for Rising here? Playing at home against who? Who would you like to see?
Ooh.
San Jose just got rid of their head coach. A little bit of a turmoil over there. If they are
and
drawn.
they put 5 on Bay Cities tonight. I know it's Bay Cities, right? But
I think a matchup, right? Because I think with the U.S. Open Cup, for me, you want to face an MLS team, right?
You want to,
I don't want. I think they've leveled up.
But that's because you look at it and say Sacramento Republic. If you lose to Sacramento Republic, it feels like kind of crap. Like tonight, if they'd have lost tonight, it would feel bad because you're like, well, we're one of the best teams in the league. You should be winning this game.
Yep.
That's you'd hope so at least. But what you've got, if you play an MLS team, even if you lose that game, you can go out there without pressure. And if you lose that game, you go, well, they're in a high league, but you've got a real chance of an upset. And we've seen that a few times now.
Yeah.
The giant killings. Can we get a shout out? 2 League One teams have knocked out MLS teams in their own stadium.
That is insane.
Union Omaha yesterday. Shout out to Gabriel Claudio.
Oh, yeah. The trialist,
he was
right?
On trial here.
Yeah.
He was on trial here.
That's true.
He played yesterday for
Found
Union
a spot.
Omaha.
Look at that.
And I mean, I know Greg mentioned he's happy to see that they got through because his former team. And then Northern Colorado Hailstorm winning in Salt Lake. So we are not going to Salt Lake City. We know that.
Thanks.
There'll be no trips to Salt Lake City this year. But I don't know. We'll see.
It's fun, man. The U.S. Open Cup has been really fun. We were watching the Rochester game against Motown.
Hang on a minute.
That went to penalties.
Oh, the groups. We got the groups.
Breaking news.
We got the groups. Northern Pacific, Sounders, Sacramento, Phoenix Rising, and San Jose Earthquakes. Called it.
He called it.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
So Phoenix Rising will be facing one of Seattle Sounders, San Jose Earthquakes, or Sacramento Republic.
Give me Seattle.
I want Seattle.
You want Seattle? You're both taking Seattle?
I want Seattle.
Hey, they're in the
Seattle,
Champions League right now. CONCACAF.
Got to be here. Oh, that's true. They got 2 midweek games.
Yeah.
In a final, so they're going to be.
Yeah.
They got obviously MLS games in the middle as well.
Exactly.
They're going to be tired.
No, that's when they're
they
going to
will
have to
rotate that game. We might see a lot of those MLS Next Pro Boys in.
There you go. That's what I was about to say.
Ooh.
Exactly. So if we get Seattle Sounders,
I like your thinking.
It's going to be a little bit difficult for them because they're in that finals against Pumas, the team from Liga MX. So we'll see.
So
Fingers crossed.
One more time.
Yeah,
just reading it through quickly. Quickly for the chat. One more time. Phoenix Rising will draw one of Seattle Sounders, Sacramento Republic, or San Jose Earthquakes. So give us a shout. Who do you want to draw? Give us a shout in the chat, please.
Drop it in the comments, please.
Pop it in the comments. I hear if you put it in a super chat, then Ramon.
No, stop that. Stop that. Stop.
Then Ramon
no
will take
more.
an OGs if you're right.
Ramon will take an OGs if you get it
if
right.
If we beat any of these MLS teams, I will take it. So there you go.
If we beat any of these MLS teams, drinks are on Ramon.
No, stop with the
over in the casino.
Guy, what is he doing?
He's putting $100 behind the bar, and you come up and get your
$100. That's like 2 drinks over there. That's not a lot.
Not gonna lie, boys, we still owe them something for reaching that 500 mark.
Oh,
it's
that's
the OGs.
True. It's the OGs. We'll do the OGs. But yeah, man, this is some exciting times. Thank you to the U.S. Open Cup people.
Thank
for putting
you,
the
U.S.
groups.
Soccer Federation. You just got in time.
For putting in the groups
Thank
here.
you. Thank
All
you
right.
to David Applegate.
Yeah, thank you so much. Exciting times to be a Rising fan. They're in a pretty long winning streak now, if I can count correctly. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-game winning streak. So Not bad at all right here. Good times right now. Exciting times to be part of this U.S. Open Cup. So round of 32, we'll find out tomorrow at 9 a.m. and see who Rising will be facing off and seeing if they're going to be facing off here at Wild Horse Pass. So any other thoughts, y'all, before we wrap it up?
We might have to talk this through a bit tomorrow. Just hang fire for confirmation on that. But
yeah,
we may have to talk through the results of this draw tomorrow. Let's take a look, see what it is, see what happens. But again, this could be the first time since 2014 that an Arizona
8 years
team
ago. That sounds really scary.
played against an MLS club in a competitive match.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, my final thing is, first, shout out South Bend. You kind of rebutted this New Mexico fans that were chanting here and there that this was quiet and all that, but they got shushed up very quick.
They were singing Baby Shark.
Yeah, I know.
They were singing Nico Brett's name to Baby Shark.
Yeah, it was a little questionable. And just to the fans, shout out to all those, comments, all those watching, but celebrate. I mean, we talked about how hard this back-to-back game was going to be. They got 2 wins.
Yeah.
We got to celebrate that fact.
Celebrate it, man.
Just as a shout here, just so people know, North Central as a group, this is a separate one that's really interesting. Yeah. So Northern Colorado Hailstorm, we kind of knew this was a thing, could have their reward for beating RSL, could be a trip to play Colorado Rapids.
Ooh.
Woo!
Man. Yeah, I don't want to say anything about the Rapids, but, Hailstorm, if they can pull this through, man, that'd be pretty fun. So, but yeah, no, thank you to everybody that's been tuning in. I appreciate y'all so much. Most likely we'll have a show tomorrow, right? Yep. Is that confirmed? Yeah.
We will confirm that tomorrow.
We're in the works. We're
in the works, but tomorrow, Thursday, 6 p.m. will be.
He's here promising things that he doesn't deliver. Much like the OGs.
Oh my God.
Much like the OGs.
That's Sean's fault. Peacemaker. I'm looking at you.
Not me.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens
before
tomorrow.
we go, has anyone given us any things they want to draw in there?
Yeah, Sacramento, Sounders, and Scott said an interesting one. Salt Lake has such a youth presence here. Be great to beat them and establish Arizona for Rising.
That is true.
But we can't draw them.
Because
they're out.
Yeah, I know.
They're out.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if we get by our group and they get by their group.
Here's what we know. If you want your kids to play for a team that can reach the 4th round of the Open Cup, don't make them play for RSL.
Oh, no.
Keep Rising.
Wow. All right, on that note, we're going to wrap it up for tonight here at Wild Horse Pass against Phoenix Rising. 2-1 over New Mexico United. Back-to-back wins for Phoenix Rising. Send those New Mexico people packing back to Albuquerque. But great time. Next game will be on Saturday against Miami FC. Looking forward to that one as well. Miami's pretty tough. Haven't given up too many goals.
Good
yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow if we do have the show. And we'll keep you updated on all that stuff. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, see you later.